With Fortnite being so popular, you've got to know about it, and with the release of one of the new weapons, I reinstalled the game to see how historically accurate it was. Here is how historically accurate the Flintlock pistol is in Fortnite. First off, let me show you a video of the reload and firing of this weapon. Now that you've watched that, let's criticize the reload. First, with this being a flintlock, you would think you'd need to prime it and put the frizzen down, but apparently you don't in this game. So it shouldn't even make a spark, let alone fire. And when you add in the fact that in the reload, they just drop what seems to be some powder in a ball, it shouldn't fire. Also, the gun is massive, and it looks like you're loading a small marble into a 72 caliber musket. Or, muzzleloading pistol. The ramming seems to be easy due to this, but the sound is certainly odd, and the ramrod looks way too small to create suction to make this sound. And you might just need to use some common sense with the fact that the ramrod gets dropped and not put back in the gun, so the next time you go to load it, you might have to use your finger. Now the firing. This is perhaps the most historically inaccurate of all, other than the inaccuracy, which they did get right. Due to this being a smooth-bored firearm, firing a projectile that is a ball, it is very inaccurate, and the game, which is one thing the game did get right. But the sound and lack of smoke after firing makes up for that accuracy. Normally, once you fired a muzzleloader of any sort, pistol or not, there will be a decent amount of smoke, and the recoil is just right out in this game. It physically moves you backward. A gun of this size should never move you back physically, especially when you're using it with two hands. This would only produce a small amount of recoil, especially because you're only putting a pinch of powder down the barrel, and when there's none in the pan. One more thing, this seems to be modeled after a pirate gun, which would be used in the early to mid 1800s, but this model seems more modern. We don't know the caliber for sure, and especially because this gun fires heavy ammo in the game and not lead balls. Personally, I think it's very difficult to ram a large bullet down the barrel of a relatively small pistol that has a flintlock as its firing mechanism. It's also very hard when it's not even primed and the frizzen isn't down, so when you pull the trigger all that happens is the flint hits the pan. The empty pan, mind you. And yes, I know this is a game, and this gun is even called the Flintlock, but in the eyes of a history enthusiast, this would get a 1 out of 10 for historical realism. The only reason why it gets a 1 and not a 0 is because because it has the correct action, and because they use the ramrod to load it. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this mild criticism. I could add a lot more about this, and I might if I get good feedback on this. But I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.